Hey everyone, Matthis here. I'm creative designer at Finsweet, and today we're gonna see how to use AI in your web design workflow.
That's effing sweet.
It's a big trend. I think everybody here has heard about ChatGPT, Midjourney, all these new AI tools. And today I want to open a conversation around that. So I think there will be like different sessions. We're going to see different tools and different ways we can use these tools and how we can enjoy it. I know a lot of people start to be scared, like, oh my God, this AI is going to steal my job. But that's not really my opinion. And I'm going to show you why. I think it can be the best assistant ever. And it can give the freedom to a lot of creative mind to just jump walls that they had before. It can be like technical knowledge that they didn't have, some creative skills that they would need to draw some stuff. And yeah, just I think that for me, it's like something that allows you to just jump over a wall you have in your workflow. Because of course, every designer and every developer don't have the same easiness to do things. So I think it's a great way to just helps you overcome all of that. So in today's sessions, I wanted to talk about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a writing assistant, so you can ask him anything. It can be a personal discussion that you can have with him. It can be a technical question. It can be an historical question. You can ask him to write articles. We're going to see this later. You can ask him to solve some things in your code when something is going wrong. And you can use it also as an assistant for Webflow to integrate custom code inside of your site. So we're going to start with this, how ChatGPT can be a technical assistant. I have two examples here. The first one, I'm going to show you how ChatGPT helped me to write some custom JavaScript for Webflow. And in another hand, we're going to see how it helps me to integrate like a search service inside of Webflow. You know that Webflow is like a big toolkit, and you can just add any tool you want inside with the API system. But sometimes you can, even more if you're not technical, you can meet some, you can have some pain integrating tools and customizing the things inside of it. So in this case, it was kind of simple, but yeah, it was of a big help. Then we're going to see some copywriting stuff, how ChatGPT can help you with SEO. And we're going to end with the cool part that I like about branding and how it can help you to generate brand names, color palettes, and a lot more than that. I'm going to show you then some best practices I discovered after quite a lot of time playing with it, the way you can write, what you could do, what you shouldn't. I hope it will be helpful. I want this, and I want to keep this session as more open as possible. I'm recording this because sometimes there is loading time for this ChatGPT stream, not so much, but when we're going to jump into image generations and all of this, there can be a load time that, yeah, can be a bit boring watching. So we just decided to record this, but let's talk about all of this after the recording. And yeah, I hope we can talk about all of this, and I hope to have your opinion on these tools and how we use it. It's going to be cool to talk about that together. So let's dive into it right now. So to give you a bit of context, I redesigned my portfolio recently, and I wanted to add some super specific stuff because it was cool and because that's something that I wanted to do. The first thing is in the footer of the site, I wanted to display the local time of the place I live in. So I live in Akumal, Mexico. It's near Cancun. And you see that today it's 4:45 in Akumal. I wanted to do that with JavaScript because natively in Webflow, you don't have a feature to do this. And I've been exploring a bit the internet to find the better way to do that. So after a few research, I found that there was a JavaScript library, named moment.js that allows you to display the time in a certain time zone. So what I did, I asked ChatGPT to do it. And I told him, I want to display my local time on my Webflow website using JavaScript. First thing, I want to just give a bit of an analyze to this sentence and try to see what I ask here. There are two important things here. I asked him what I wanted, so my intention and context, Webflow, JavaScript. It's really important. You have to have clear intentions with ChatGPT and to give as much context as possible. So in this case, the language I want to use to do that, and the platform and the feature, what I want to create. He started to write me this, and you can see that when the first answer of ChatGPT is not clear enough, or if it's because it's not, if it was not what you was expected, generally it's not his fault. It's because you had a lack of context. And yeah, I had a lack of context here. So after this, I asked him like, I want you to write all the code in one so I can add the HTML paragraph element with the ID you mentioned previously in Webflow Canva, and I'll paste all the code in the Webflow custom code page. I think you know how custom code works in Webflow. You can add it inside of a page or inside of your project here. In this case, because the footer is on every page, I wanted to make sure the local time was working on every page. So we have here the code that ChatGPT wrote for me inside of the footer code. After asking him to rewrite these 3 independent blocks of code in one, he did it. And then I was like trying to copy and paste this inside of Webflow, but it was not working because there was a lack of context. I forgot to ask him to display the time zone to Cancun. And that's what I wanted, but I forgot to put it here. So the example was not convenient. And then he rewrote it. How kind he is. You can see that he changed this line. And you can see that, as always, he's always explaining you in the JavaScript what's doing what. And I really enjoy it. As a non-technical person, it's like super cool because I start now to see some array and stuff in JavaScript that I could not understand before. And because of all this description, I'm able to understand it a little more. So here is explaining that he's getting the current date and time in Cancun time zone. Here is formatting it, and here is displaying it. I was tired, I think, when I was talking with him. I missed one more thing. I told you that I wanted this code to be based on the JavaScript library moment.js. What I forgot was before. But I just asked him, hey, can you rewrite that with moment.js? He rewrote the time. He rewrote the same block of code using moment.js. And that's what I got here. And let's refresh the page. Let's go to the footer. And it's for 15 Akumal. It's working well. That was for the first example. Okay, guys. So as you can see in this workflow, there was a bit of confusion. The good point about ChatGPT is you can go and back and ask him like different things twice, 3 times. It doesn't matter. But I just wanted to clarify what was the correct prompt. So I want to display the local time of Cancun on my Webflow website using moment.js. And I want the code in one block of code. This is the correct prompt, so feel free to play with it. Okay, guys, I wanted to give you another example. I will not go in details with this today because it was like a long conversation I had with ChatGPT. I think almost like 1 hour and a half. So it would be a lot of code to show you and a lot of exchanges of messages with him. But I just want to show you the results. And if you're interested into this, I can share with you this inside of a clonable and you can explore everything and see how the code is structured. Another thing I wanted for my portfolio was that the preloader only display once per hour based on cookie session. You can see that on Webflow natively inside of the designer, you can have like a preloader, but this preloader will just be displayed every time someone refresh the page. And on a UX point of view, I think it's a bit disturbing. So I wanted to display it once per hour, and I asked ChatGPT to do it. So I am on the page for a while, and if I refresh it, you can see that nothing happened. But if I open like an incognito window and I just go to the portfolio, here we see the loader. And if I refresh, no loader. That's really cool. It works seamlessly, and I didn't wrote any line of code by myself with this. ChatGPT did it 100%. I copy and paste the code that I have on Webflow for better readability inside of Visual Studio Code. So here you can see the few 35 lines of code he wrote to make it work. So of course, in Webflow, every element that you have here is as a class. So when you name something on Webflow, it's like a HTML class, CSS class, sorry. And this class needs to be called by the JavaScript just to recognize the targets. And so make sure to name properly your class inside of Webflow using client first. And to reuse them correctly inside of your code, and tell ChatGPT to reuse the name you use inside of your Webflow build. That's a good way to earn sometimes. And also to avoid mistakes, because a lot of time the code is correct, but you don't paste correctly the class and it just breaks all the script and it doesn't work. So yeah, if you're interested about this, just let me know and I will be happy to share with you a clonable of this cool feature. So we saw together how to add some custom JavaScript inside of Webflow. And now I want to show you how I played with ChatGPT to help me to customize a third service implementation. So it was on a client site. They have like a form for like new team member to just send work application. And the company really needed people to import their CV. That's something I could do with this awesome service that is called Upload Care. Upload Care allows you to add like an import field inside of any Webflow form. I think on the free plan, like the limitation are really low, and it allows you to don't tell your clients to go on the business plan. That is the native plan on Webflow that allows you to import stuff. So it's a good alternative. Keep the tip. And the only thing I had with it is the default HTML. So the text of the button was something I couldn't modify. I tried to read the doc. I tried to play with settings inside of Upload Care dashboard, and I couldn't find a way to modify this text. Something really simple now, but that you can struggle hours on because you don't know how it works. So I asked ChatGPT to find a hack to hide the text inside of this button and to put the French label on the top of it with the proper text and copywriting that the client wanted for this call to action. So I think it's here, update the button right here. Again, I'm not going to show you all the interactions because you can see that we interact quite a lot. I send like 5-6 messages, but it's like the same as before. You give context as much as possible and you have to show clear intentions. In this case, we have tried different things. And as you can see, something was not working on the way. I told him this did not work. And he sent me other options. And finally, it almost worked. But what happened in this case was kind of funny because I had the two texts on the top of each other. So I had the text in French added in the button, but the text in English was still in behind. And so I had an idea, and that's something you can keep in mind. If you're creative and you can find hack yourself on how to solve the issue, but you don't know how to code it, ChatGPT will be the best assistant. In this case, I knew I wanted to add like a background color and to cover completely the other text that was behind. And I mean, I could do this in CSS and write it on the way, but as I was talking with him, I just asking him at the end to just uh, change the background color of the text inside of this, and then it almost worked. But the problem I had is like I have, as you can see, a hover effect on the button, and the background behind the new label was not changing. So then I asked him to respect the transition effect of the button and change the color at the same time. So it's seamless. You even don't see that there is a background and there are two different elements inside each other. So that's another hack. So next, I'm going to show you how you can use ChatGPT to be your copywriting assistant and to help you in this case with SEO and like meta tags and to generate high quality SEO articles. For this purpose, I have an example. I was living in a hotel in Mexico, in Akumal, for a while. And yeah, I just love the people in there and I proposed them to redo their websites. So here it is. And the main thing here is that there are a lot of competition around their area on what they're doing. So I advised them to create like a bunch of articles and travel guides around the region and like putting some keywords related to the hotel inside of every article. So we can generate a bit of traffic for this new coming website. So all the articles that you can see here are super high quality articles that has been generated only by ChatGPT, and it's pretty mad. And it's giving like touristic tips, like the historical stuff to see around, some runes. And yeah, it's like this for every article. There are like 150 characters articles, words, sorry. And yeah, from like touristic places to the best beach to go to the best path to go to, the best pool around, what to do in Tulum. ChatGPT generated all of this. Just to give a bit of a disclaimer around that, I don't think ChatGPT is the best when he is in free diving. I explain myself. If you ask ChatGPT, write travel guides for Hotel La Luz in Mexico, point. He will write it. But as I told you before, context, intention. The best you can do is sending him like a description of what you are doing and trying to tell him your story and stuff. And then tell him what your customers are expecting from travel guides. And then to generate some articles titles and to send you, I don't know, a list of 30 articles. And from these 30 articles, you select only one and you'll tell him to generate articles similar to the one you liked. And so in this way, like it's much more precise, focus, and yeah, more, it's getting more, it's getting well with your audience. Because if you just get general, it will have general terms and it will not be super precise and it can be a bit boring. So that's what he did here. And yeah, we're looking forward to publish the site and to see the results of this, but I think it can be cool. A cool tool I found to give him context is this link. I will put the link inside of the chat. So to the web.com, you can put a URL and convert to text, and it just generates the text of all the page. So what you do is you can just copy and paste everything that you have here and paste it inside of ChatGPT and tell him that this is the content of the homepage of the site and that he can find information here to develop the articles. In this case, there was like a few about descriptions, and yeah, it was kind of precise. It will also like skip all the information that is unnecessary and not related with your context. So feel free to use that and to give him context through this. Another thing we did for this site is to generate the SEO title tags and meta description for every page. So there's not a lot of page for this site. It's like a 4 pages website. But through this piece of information, it could do like a 60 words title, SEO title that was pretty good and precise. This one, Ultimate Relaxation at Holistic Hotel La Luz, Akumal Jungle Retreats, which sounds perfect for me as a marketer and for the clients. So everyone is happy with this. And yeah, he wrote some meta description, and yeah, it can do the job also in SEO. I'm really happy with it. Okay, so next we're going to see how ChatGPT can help you being your branding assistant. So we are going to think about a company that we were going to invent, and this example will be live. We're going to interact together with ChatGPT to like find us a brand name and ecosystem around the context we're going to give him. Let's say we want to create a company of space tourism that is influenced by the artistic movement of the Renaissance in history. Because we're going to say that the CEO of this company is like super passionate about Renaissance, and that we want to influence the brand around this time of the history. So we're going to create a new chat and start to talk with him. This is another best practice. You should always be kind with him. He's a kid now, but if tomorrow he controls the world, he will remember that you were kind with him. Joke apart, let's start. So I want to create a brand for tourism space tourism company. I want this brand to be unique and have a characteristic of the art from period of history. I want you, so you give context and then the intention. I want you to find 5 brand name alternatives that doesn't exist. Don't exist. Makes the idea of space tourism innovation and the classical and fancy part of the so it's like a context that is kind of original. These two topics are not working together normally. Like when you think about space tourism, you don't think about history and Renaissance. But I discovered that to create unique concept and stuff, it's pretty cool to mix stuff that have nothing in common, and it start to give you ideas and stuff. It's really interesting. I love that. Look at these names. There is like a Latin sound in the name that's really cool, and we can really imagine like a space tourism luxury with marble on the ground of the spaceship. Imagine that. And every time he's asking you, he's telling you, sorry, the meaning of everything. So I kind of like this one, Orbis Aureus. I like And then I'm going to ask him, can you write a heading for the header of site that explain in maximum 12 words our mission? Cool, you can keep that. And then we're going to ask him, based on these brand characteristics, I want you to generate a color palette that fits with this mix of classy history, Renaissance period, and innovation of space exploration. Okay, cool. I want to visualize that. I want to visualize that little hack. If you ask him to describe a color, he will send you a color visually. That's pretty cool. I want to visualize that. Send me picture. Go for it. Be patient, guys. Don't work. Find an alternative to show it.
Five minutes later.
Okay, forget about it, guys. Sometimes we have to know how to take the lead on the AI. We have a good example. So let's see what has been created here. 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have deep space black. We have metallic gold. We have royal purple. We have pale blue, and we have crimson red. Oof. Kind of looks cool. I prefer more minimalistic palette, but I think for a lot of brands, it can work. And yeah, let's just ask him, can you try to make this color palette more minimalistic? And the main color, which color is the best here? I kind of like this combination. Imagine that. Around this yellow, red, black. I want you to create soft colors of each as a variant. Rewrite the wool palette, please. Cool, thank you, man. So we have our new color palette, and yeah, that's pretty cool. We're not going to check now what these colors are about. It's more to show you the process, but you know what? In the next part, in the next session, I wanted to explore visual tools as Midjourney and DALL-E 2, and I have already prepared like a bunch of assets related to space exploration and stuff. So we are going to play a bit with these colors and try to make this brand live. I like that. I really like that. Let's just make sure that we keep Orbis aureus. Great. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoy this first session about AI. I will repeat, I want to keep it as an open session. So I will be happy to hear your workflow around that and how you use AI every day in your web design process, in Webflow, in Figma, generating images, text, whatever. It sounds really interesting to hear that from you guys. As a little conclusion of this recording, here are my best practices. So there are some rules I tend to use as I work with ChatGPT. And the first one is, I told you this a lot inside of the recording, is to have clear intention and to be patient with him. I know that some friends, they're talking with ChatGPT and the answer is not satisfying from like 2 going back and they just abandon. That's not the way. If ChatGPT answer you bad, it's that your intention was not clear or the context was not clear enough. It brings us to the second point, that you have to feed ChatGPT with the maximum of content you have in the case of copywriting. It's even better to give him a little and then let him write something for you 100%. That's the example I show you with the hotel site, generating articles. Instead of describing the article, the hotel, sorry, and the business and stuff, I just feed him with all the content of the page and let him like play with this content and write some stuff. And generally it works well, because a web page, if your homepage is well written and gives enough context about the company and the business, generally you have inside all of the information ChatGPT needs to write cool side content. Also, and it's an important point, at the beginning, don't worry about how you write and stuff. There are a bunch of directories of prompts that will help you to write the right way to him. I can give you some examples in the chat if you're interested. I have 2 main directories I use, and I will send it after if you ask me to. And yeah, joke apart, be kind. If GPT takes the power one day, it will remember you treat him well when he was a kid. Thanks everyone for watching. In this video, we have seen how to use ChatGPT in your web design workflow, for Webflow technical developments, generate brand identity, and some SEO tips. And in next video, we are going to look at image generation AI tool as Midjourney and DALL-E. It's going to be super cool, fun, and creative. So see you there.